distant lands our forefathers came, some seeking adventure, some bound in chains. Through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caracom. Though great and diverse be our ethnicities, the bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We dine, we pray, we love, we dance and we play. We relate to each other the West Indian way. Today as a people united, determined and steadfast we stand. We look to a brand new horizon, the future now firmly in our hands. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caracom. Hele, hele, bravo. Open your sting, Calico. Leve, leve, wow. Naki your drum, Calico. Tabu, ya tabu, awo. Open your sting, Calico. Leve, leve, wow. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caracom. Hele, hele, bravo. Open your sting, Caracom. Leve, leve, wow. Hele, hele, tabu, ya tabu, awo. Naki your drum, Caracom. Leve, leve, wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for standing, but I just want to acknowledge that that's not actually a national anthem, but thank you for standing and acknowledging it. You may be seated, please. Hello, everybody. What a wonderful way to start the closing ceremony. That was the beautiful voice of Mikkel Henderson, who hails from the Nature Isle of Dominica. And that was the CARICOM song. And of course, a lot of the video that you saw is fitting, of course, with what's happening here at TAPSEC. And I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge Mr. Wayne Simmons, who handled the entire day's events. And greetings to you and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Belle Holder, serving as your Master of Ceremony for the closing ceremony aspect of today. And, you know, the CARICOM song really shows us a greater connection that we have throughout the region and beyond. Of course, I will reestablish the official protocol, and I just want you to know that I reached out to some family members in Germany for correct pronunciation. She sent me a voice note. It did not help. However, know that I'm speaking from the heart, and I will try my best. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official closing ceremony of TAPSEC. I take this opportunity to say good afternoon and welcome to the Honorable Ms. Sandra Husbands, Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Trade and Business here in Barbados. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon and welcome to Alfonso Rodriguez, Vice Minister of the Ministry of Energy and Mines of the Dominican Republic. Dr. Armstrong Alexis, Deputy Secretary General of CARICOM Secretariat. Her Excellency Malgorzata Waseluska, Ambassador of the European Union to Barbados and CARICOM. Welcome. Good afternoon to Bogdan Stefanascu, First Secretary, Team Leader for the Green Economy and Resilience Section. To Verena Blackweed, GIZ, Country Director of the Caribbean, CEOs, Executive Directors, and Heads of Partner organizations, to our partners and representatives of region organizations, and of course to everybody here who is in Barbados in our audience at the historical Crane Beach Hotel. Good afternoon once again and welcome, and to all of our audience who are logged on virtually as well. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome. This is the TAPSEC closing ceremony under the theme Celebrating Power Through Partnerships, where we chronicle the collaboration and impacts of the Technical Assistance Program for Sustainable Energy in the Caribbean from 2017 to 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take this opportunity to acknowledge the work that has been done over the past 5 years, and having done so while we battled a pandemic, by your show of applause and spreading some energy in the room. Once again, my name is Belle Holder, your Master of Ceremony, and now I take this opportunity to welcome Her Excellency Malgorzata Waseluska to begin with the remarks, and she is of course the Ambassador of the European Union to Barbados and CARICOM.
Thank you so much, Madam Master of Ceremony. Honorable Sandra Husbands, Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Trade and Business Development of Barbados. Honorable Vice Minister Alfonso Rodriguez, Ministry of Energy and Mines of the Dominican Republic. Dr. Armstrong Alexis, Deputy Secretary General of the CARICOM Secretariat. Mrs. Alexis Downs, Amsterdam Director General of CARIForum, who I believe will join us virtually. Mr. Christophe Anton, Chargé d'Affaires, Acting Head of Mission Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany, also virtually. Ms. Verena Blikwede, GIZ Director for the Caribbean. Dr. Devon Gardner, Head of Technical Programs, SICRI. Mr. Simon Zellner, TAPSEC Program Leader and TAPSEC Team. Dear colleagues and friends, good afternoon. Let me welcome you to this high-level ceremony that celebrates, together with the very interesting and productive conference held earlier, 5 years of intensive work and of fruitful cooperation, 5 years of difficulties and successes. In brief, 5 years of regional support by TAPSEC to the critical sector of renewable energy and energy efficiency. If we look at today's societies, be it through a political, an economic, a sociologic or historic lens, they are the result of more than 300 years of a dynamic energy sector. The production and use of energy has brought progress, caused wars, shaped nations, shortened distances, made species disappear and ice caps melt, and had more than doubled life expectancy in most parts of the world. It allowed both walking on the moon and Hiroshima. Energy is one of those very few things that can create and destroy just as easily. And we as humans have been given the huge responsibility to make that choice. Today, this choice has to be informed by our past errors and triumphs, by the new lens through which we look at our future, that of sustainability. We eventually realize that our ultimate goal should not be our own well-being at any price, but the same well-being put in the perspective of those who will come after us and their well-being, and that of all the species that share with us the same home. The Caribbean, at all levels, has made this choice of sustainability. Excuse me, technology always challenges at some point. From the citizens to the political and economic regional leaders, the options of renewable production and efficient use of energy have been adopted as the way forward. International commitments, political manifestos, civil society efforts, citizens' change in consumption patterns all aim to ambitious decarbonization targets with even more ambitious timelines for the green transition. And this is why we're here today, as sustainable energy production and its efficient use are key elements of this transition. In Europe, the green transition has also started to shape the economies by promoting circularity and sustainability, to shape societies by adapting the education system and increasing citizen responsibility towards the environment, and to shape mentalities, changing consumption patterns and adapting it all to the digital era. Among the many goals that the EU and the Caribbean share, we can count among the most ambitious the common desire of achieving a swift transition to clean energy. We know from experience how hard it is to make the right investments, to change legislation, to change professional profiles, to shake mentalities, and still to go on. Through trial and error, together we will reach a result that we know from overwhelming scientific evidence to be the good one, not only for us, but also for the generations to come and for the world in which they will live. One thing is clear for us all: there is no way back. The world goes forward, and the global political consensus pointing in this direction has already been taken in Paris back in 2015. Still, a political commitment is nothing without the private sector and the citizens to buy in, to make the necessary adjustments, to adapt and to contribute. In order to get the trust of the private sector and citizens to attract investments and to trigger mentality changes, political commitments have to be accompanied by a clear vision, realistic but ambitious goals, a well-defined strategy, a fair legislation, and an efficient enforcement. And these, in my opinion, are the few elements that TAPSEC has modestly but effectively supported during the last 5 years. The Technical Assistance Program for Sustainable Energy in the Caribbean has been conceived together with our partners of GIZ and the CARICOM Energy Unit and CARIFORUM to assist Caribbean countries in advancing their energy strategies with targeted, on-demand support. The TAPSEC Regulations Help Desk has been a real success. From electric vehicle strategy for the region and e-mobility market assessments in Guyana and Belize, to studies for establishment of tariff regimes in St. Kitts, support to utilities to increase their performance and better serve the customers, and many other interventions. The help desk has been a reference for the energy policy sector and decision makers in the Caribbean for the last years. Still, in terms of policy work, we can count another success stories, such as programs close collaboration with CrossQ on energy-efficient quality infrastructure, or the support to the Renewable Energy Grid Code for the Dominican Republic. The same for the information, knowledge sharing, and capacity building component of the program, where the work with SICRI and the centers of excellence that have been established and formalized during the duration of the project. There are numerous examples of successful activities under this program, and many have been highlighted in the discussions earlier today. But as I previously served in Jamaica, I would like to briefly mention one of the most important achievements of the program, which is the microgrid at the Discovery Bay Marine Lab at the University of West Indies Mona campus. A 72 kilowatt solar photovoltaic microgrid system transforming the lab into an important excellence center, renewable-based, for training, research, and testing on microgrid and smart grid systems. The microgrid facility not only reduces the electricity bill of the Discovery Bay Marine Lab through the energy produced, but also reduces the facility's carbon footprint, and most importantly, serves as a learning resource for hundreds of students from the region, as well as for researchers. I believe, not without certain pride, that through all these actions, TAPSEC has contributed, even if only a little, to the region's efforts to transition towards carbon neutrality. I'm also happy to see that as a regional program on renewable energy and energy efficiency, it has also paved the way to the upcoming Euroclima Caribbean program that the European Union will soon start implementing in the region. Euroclima Caribbean, that will partly be implemented by our reliable and excellent partners of GIZ, is aiming to take further the work of TAPSEC and to concentrate on the region's needs in terms of implementation of climate-related strategies and policies, and in terms of attracting meaningful renewable energy, circular economy, or resilience investments in the region. But this is subject for another time. Dear colleagues and dear friends, it is my pleasure to conclude these remarks by recognizing the hard work and dedication of the teams and individuals that have contributed to this program during the last 5 years. I would therefore like to say a big thank you to Simon and his team, who carried the burden of the day-to-day implementation of TAPSEC and was rewarded in exchange with picking the daily fruits the program had to offer. They took this program through difficult moments, including a major disruption in activities due to COVID-19, but they managed to adapt, to change, and still to never lose track of the final objectives. I also thank Ms. Verena Blikvede and the GIZ Regional Director for her guidance and support to this project. A big round of applause to all of you. I would also like to thank all the partners that made this program work through their knowledge of the sector, of the region, and through their dedication to the Caribbean's clean energy goals. A big thank you to CARICOM, CARIFORUM, CICRI, University of West Indies, CrossQ, CIMH, the 5 Cs, and all national and regional partners that contributed and benefited from the program. In addition, I would like to thank nominally to Dr. Devon Gardner, who was involved from the beginning in the design and implementation of TAPSEC, and who has strongly supported and helped the program, both from the CARICOM Energy Unit and now from CICRI. Another round of applause, please, for the partnerships and the professionalism of our invaluable partners. Finally, I would also like to thank my team. And most importantly, to my colleague Kyle Farnham, who has followed up this program from the bitter end of procedural and administrative side of it. And you know how complicated European administrative processes are. His professional and knowledgeable approach have made possible many of the activities you have heard about in today's discussions. And we miss him at the ceremony where he should have had a front seat, as he's down with COVID, sadly. Please join me in wishing him a speedy recovery, and another round of applause for Bogdan Stefanescu and his team as well. Thank you and enjoy the celebration.
wonderful about being, I'll repeat, thank you, Ambassador. What's wonderful about being in a room like this that is so diverse and multicultural is what we learn from each other. And so I take this opportunity to wish the Ambassador a future of becoming a road tennis champion. That was not an inside joke. She's actually learning to play road tennis and getting very, very good at it. She learned it here in Barbados. Okay, next, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have the keynote address by the Honorable Sandra Husbands, Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Trade and Business here in Barbados. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Mr. Alfonso Rodriguez, Vice Minister, Ministry of Energy and Mines, Dominican Republic. Ambassador, Ambassador Wasiliska, Ambassador of the European Union to Barbados. Dr. Armstrong Alexis, Deputy Secretary General, CARICOM Secretariat. Ms. Alexis Downs Amsterdam, Director General of CARIFORUM. Mrs. Verena Blikwede, GIZ Regional Director. Mr. Simon Zellner, Program Leader of TAPSEC, and to the entire team as well. Specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here. When I came, I understood that you were still in session, and that said to me that the sessions were powerful, the sessions were packed full of knowledge and interest, and that people deeply engaged the topics that were here. And I want to salute you all for having conducted such a very successful program here in the region. I also want to greet those who are online, who are joining us. The Government of Barbados is pleased to have been invited to today's closing ceremony for Technical Assistance Program for Sustainable Energy in the Caribbean Region, TAPSEC. The theme of the ceremony, Power Through Partnership, chronicling the collaborations and impact of TAPSEC in the Caribbean region, allows for the ventilation of a region-wide discussion on the progress of transformation in the energy sector over the last 5 years. This TAPSEC program has during that time supported CARIFORUM member states in their transition efforts toward a low-carbon, sustainable, and climate-compatible development pathway, and that is no mean feat. The driving mission behind TAPSEC was to ensure that all CARIFORUM citizens have access to modern, clean, and reliable energy supplies at affordable and stable prices. And don't we need that now more than ever? At the commencement of the program in 2017, the landscape for energy did not resemble in many ways the present landscape. Since then, through a number of collaborative and strategic interventions, the TAPSEC program has worked to support the implementation of the CARICOM energy policy, the Caribbean Sustainable Energy Roadmap and Strategy, a number of national energy policies and strategies. And this was realized through phenomenal efforts in the thematic areas of policy and regulation, information and capacity building, and finance. I use the word phenomenal because the interventions can be evidenced through the tangible outputs of the program, which include the regional electric vehicle strategy intended to deliver intelligent, modern, affordable, clean, efficient, and safe mobility solutions for CARICOM citizens and businesses, regional and national level energy efficiency strategies and action plans. These created a detailed map of the path toward energy efficiency and also provided a strategic approach at the regional level to upscale the efforts of the CARICOM member states as it relates specifically to energy efficiency. The CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub, which exists as an information and knowledge management framework that aims to address the data and information gaps currently existing within the CARICOM region to enhance our decision making. The CARICOM Regional Energy Apprenticeship Program, the Project Preparation Facility, the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, among many others. To understand the transformative period during which these changes to the sector were being executed, it must be remembered that concepts such as energy policies, the need for a focused approach to capacity building in the sector, and the ever-present quest to finance these changes have only grown in importance since 2017. The concepts and philosophies guiding the work executed in TAPSEC have dovetailed neatly into the region's overarching energy goals and have left a clearly delineated pathway for forward motion. For the government of Barbados, our perspective on the transition of the energy sector has been echoed with resounding clarity since 2019, when we spoke to the intention of releasing our country from the shackles of energy price volatility by powering our country from fossil fuel-free sources by 2030. This 2030 target, as captured in the Barbados National Energy Policy, requires more than the commitment of us as politicians. It requires the obvious input and participation of the country at large. Beyond political will, the implementation of the targets set out in that policy requires wide-ranging, deeply devoted, heavily invested, and totally committed international participation. The work of the TAPSEC program corroborates what we knew when we formulated the accompanying implementation plan, that basically it takes the entire village if we as a small island state are to see our way into the proposed 2030 energy mix. This energy mix, as outlined in the nationally determined contribution presented at COP26, consists of a 95% share of renewable energy in the electricity mix, 100% electric or alternatively fueled vehicles in the passenger fleet, a 20% increase in energy efficiency across all sectors, a 29% decrease in industrial, commercial, and residential fuel consumption, and a 20% decrease in waste emissions. As guiding principles, the thematic areas of TAPSEC, policy, capacity building, and finance have been successfully replicated in the structure of new project and program development in the Ministry of Energy as we strive to work towards achieving what can only be described as ambitious targets in the sector's transformation. The fail-safe method of driving change through the development of modern, sensible policy, regulations, and legislative frameworks has seen a recent surge in the formulation of new and improved strategies being developed for renewable energy licensing through our online portal, development of new draft utility-scale licenses for independent power producers, a new policy on clean energy storage, and the highly anticipated Integrated Resource and Resilience Plan, which will enable an integrated assessment to assist in optimizing energy services and minimize electricity costs for our consumers. So understandably, this body of work is undertaken simultaneously with continuing efforts to build capacity and professional strengthening in the energy sector. As one example, the division has executed through the Public Sector Smart Energy Program a public education and professional strengthening project with a targeted focus on the learning institutions. Now, this activity sought to ascertain and remedy the relevant gaps in sustainable energy knowledge within the education sector. Interest in this training was so keen that the targeted 430 participants was surpassed, and the workshops drew participation from 479 educators, an additional 10% over the targeted maximum. Finally, the need for finance in the energy sector is most critical if this sector is to continue to contribute significantly to our national development. I am pleased to report that the government of Barbados continues to benefit from the assistance of willing international partners in the execution of work critical to creating the enabling environment for investment. Over the years, our partners have included the Inter-American Development Bank, the European Union, the United Nations Development Programme, and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, among others. However, the constant noise behind what is committed internationally to finance the transformation efforts of small island developing states such as Barbados, and what these same SIDS can actually access remains challenging for all of us. Indeed, efforts to become sustainable are premised on the need for us as small island states to survive in a climate world that is becoming more hostile and which threatens our ability to thrive in the ways we have historically known. As we look forward, it is worrying that commitments to remove the economic burden of fuel price volatility in the hopes of improving economic viability are coupled with the concomitant benefit of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. But we are all well aware that our contribution to these emissions is less than negligible. The need for critical interventions by those larger and more powerful than us must remain in the forefront of our thoughts and must feed into the development of new obligations and flexible arrangements for sectoral transformation. Indeed, all will prove relatively futile if the climate crisis is not brought under control swiftly. As a region, we have the most to lose in any worst-case scenario. In conclusion, let it be said that the critical work in the region to protect our beautiful, pristine ways of life is well underway. As a region, we have formulated many policies, and it can be said that the architect has passed over the completed plans for construction. Now is the time, if we are serious, to take control and do the work. There is nothing that will happen unless we maintain a serious approach to execution of large-scale investment projects which can propel us into true energy security. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Minister Husband. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be connecting with someone virtually, Christoph Anton, who's the Charge d'Affaires, Acting Head of Mission, Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Christoph Anton.
Thank you very much. Honorable Ministers, Mr. Deputy Secretary General of CARICOM, Mr. Director General of CARIFORUM, Ambassador Wasilewski, my fellow compatriots Werner Bickwede and Simon Zellner, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, sorry that I cannot make it today to your beautiful island of Barbados, so I'm joining you remotely here from the also beautiful Trinidad and Tobago. So, ladies and gentlemen, droughts in the Sahel, devastating forest fires in South America, heat waves and rising sea levels in South Asia, flooding disasters in Germany, that all happened last year. And UN Secretary General Guterres summed up this when he said, "Our planet is broken." Here in the Caribbean, the small island states are painfully aware that the climate crisis is real and that it's the biggest international challenge of the 21st century, facing our international community. Climate protection and the energy transition are thus crucial for the future of our planet, of our families, and our children. As a global community, with the Paris Climate Agreement of 2015, we have made the commitment to limit the global temperature increase to 1.5%. The industrialized nations are committed to phase out fossil fuels by the middle of the century, and the German government has made it clear in its coalition agreement that we as Germans, as Europeans, believe that it is our responsibility to do this already by the mid-40s. Ladies and gentlemen, the government of Germany is dedicated to the intentional and uncompromising shift towards carbon-neutral economies in the Caribbean and throughout the world. In alignment with the international community's objective to limit the global temperature increase to 1.5%, Germany supports international energy programs and projects by providing technical and financial assistance to all CARIFORUM member states. The Technical Assistance Program for Sustainable Energy in the Caribbean, the TAPSEC, is one such program, helping facilitate policy advancement, individual and institutional capacity development, and the financing and integration of renewable energy technologies, reinforcing national efforts to meet power demand throughout the Caribbean and the Dominican Republic. TAPSEC was funded by the German government as well as the European Union to join forces in a complementary approach to make technical assistance to the region available. The TAPSEC program has overcome unique and singular circumstances brought about by the COVID pandemic, including but not limited to remote and ever-changing work circumstances, global supply chain delays, and the challenges of innovative modernization and development in times of uncertainty. And despite all these challenges, the program has achieved and even surpassed its goal in the areas of policy, finance, capacity development, and climate resilience. The policy component of the TAPSEC aimed to facilitate the modernization and implementation of policy, legislative and regulatory frameworks to support the development of renewable energy and energy efficiency. Within the region, TAPSEC's information and capacity development interventions aim to strengthen both the Caribbean's energy information network, as well as the individual and institutional capacity of key stakeholders to deliver technical solutions in renewable energy and energy efficiency. Thirdly, the finance component was dedicated to the development of innovative financing mechanisms for renewable energy and energy efficiency projects, with specific focus on the accessibility of these mechanisms to local and regional project developers. Ladies and gentlemen, the main results of this project have been the establishment of the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, CICRE, the approval of the methodology for conducting integrated resource and resilience plans, the so-called IRRPs, at the 82nd Special Energy Council for Trade and Economic Development, and the development of national IRRPs in Belize, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, and St. Kitts and Nevis. CICRE is now a well-recognized organization to develop IRRPs for countries in the region. It has established consulting capacities and successfully acquired commissioning the development of additional IRRPs in the region, for example, by the Caribbean Development Bank, by USAID, and others. Therefore, CICRE is an outstanding result of the successful technical cooperation between CARICOM, Germany, and the European Union. Altogether, the efforts made by the TAPSEC team of professionals and partners have brought the Caribbean community one step further in the region's sustainable energy journey, but the program's closing doesn't indicate the end of German cooperation in the region. We are very pleased to have contributed to the success of this program and the sustainable development of CARICOM's energy sector. Rest assured that the German government will continue to support CARICOM and CARIFORUM in its efforts to ensure that every citizen has access to clean, affordable, and reliable energy in the years to come. And let me finish off with thanking, first of all, Simon and his very dedicated team. Thank you to the EU as our collaboration partners. And thank you very much to CARICOM and CARIFORUM and the CARICOM Secretariat and to CICRE for all their hard work and their support to make this program a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Anton. You know, there have been so many wonderful high points for TAPSEC throughout the last 5 years, but one in particular was the Regional Apprenticeship Program. Let's take a further look at REAP and the future of energy. Take a look at your screen.
Giselle Francis, hailing proudly from Trinidad and Tobago.
Hi everyone, my name is Dana Lawrence and I am from the beautiful island of Jamaica.
My name is Kwesi Worrell.
My name is Elizabeth Bullock. I am from St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Hi, my name is Jordan Hales and I'm from Jamaica.
Hi, my name is Khadija Usher and I am from Belize.
My name is Kashawn Hall.
My name is Safari Vital and I am from the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Hi, my name is Sheldon Marshall and I am a Barbadian.
I am Catherine Siriram from Trinidad and Tobago.
And I was part of the
REAP program.
The REAP is a regional energy apprenticeship program, and it was generally devised so that we can expose our young graduates to work in the field of sustainable energy development and at our regional institutions.
I'm very grateful for the fact that I've been able to get that exposure with a company that is so passionate about energy, like myself, and being able to be surrounded by like-minded individuals, meet other REAPs who have very similar mindsets and want to make a difference for renewable energy within the region.
Having the opportunity to be a part of this internship, I believe, puts me on a very good path with respect to getting future jobs or making myself more competitive within the energy space.
I definitely got a lot of professional development. I think my supervisor, Charlene Bodley, she was really good at giving me room to grow and chances to do new things.
So I'm thankful for all the training I did within REAP and through the CDF. It was a really great experience. I wish it was longer, but I'm grateful for it.
I was very grateful to be able to come under the REAP umbrella. And that is just not to say, well, I just came in and did a little work and left. But it allowed me to really think about how my research affects the Caribbean.
A program like REAP is important because of how vast the energy sphere is. Not every area would be a technical area. So we need to try to get more of those opportunities so that we get better skilled young persons, better enhanced skills where the focus is not purely on a technical aspect. So you could look at energy in law or energy in trade.
I would say my biggest takeaway was learning more about the financial aspect because my qualifications more tended me towards the technical aspect, towards working on more projects. But working with the CARICOM Development Fund, as you know, they are more of a finance-based organization. I really had to learn a little bit more about renewable energy implementation from the financial aspect. And those skills, there was a bit of a learning curve, but I really do believe that is something important and something I haven't really considered when working within the renewable energy space.
My mentor, Mr. Lennox Fort, he really pushed me. He placed me on a lot of projects which involved me interacting with high-level officials and government officials and ministers, within the CARICOM countries, which is something I never had to do and which I now have to do at my present, position.
Working alongside a mentor who is also very passionate about, renewable energy and energy on a whole, getting that type of mentorship, I think it's like once in a lifetime.
To be able to bring people up and contribute at their best, it doesn't require just getting them into the field and slowly working their way up. It actually, mentorship is a way to expedite the contributions of all these people who are entering the energy space right now. I think it's absolutely critical.
So in terms of success of the program, how we measure that was based on having more than 33% females enrolled in the program, and we have achieved that. That's one. And two, most importantly, ensuring or having a and providing an opportunity for when the REAPs would have completed, for them to be able to be attached to an institution or working within the energy sector.
The REAP program, that was a fantastic program. So what we were able to do was to get one REAP intern to work with us on the country program stream of our work, and another intern to work on the credit risk abatement facility. And that has been so successful that we've actually extended one of these interns and continue to pay them from our own resources. So that was a huge success for us. And what I want to say about that is that the internship model is certainly better than internship models, the other internship models that we've worked with. And we are looking to adapt it to other aspects of our operations at the CDF.
Most of them would not have remained in institutions where they worked, but nevertheless, they have the understanding, they have the knowledge, they know what goes on in the region, and they're more experienced now to take on such roles, if not now, maybe in the future.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols being observed, it is my pleasure to speak with you briefly today on behalf of the 2020 to 2022 Regional Energy Apprenticeship Program cohort. My name is Safira Vital, and I am the Sustainable Energy Junior Engineer at the SECRE. As you would have seen and heard in the video, REAP has been quite impactful. The initiative has involved 12 young people from 6 Caribbean nations: Belize, Barbados, Dominica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. And we have been placed in 5 regional institutions, as you would have seen: CDF, SECRE, CDB, CARILEC, and CrossQ. We've come from varied backgrounds and educational levels. Some interns would have just finished their bachelor's, some, like myself, their master's, and others would have even been in the midst of doing their PhD. And so for many of us, REAP facilitated entry or re-entry into the workforce. Through our placements, we've been able to build expertise in the energy sector. We've been able to grow professionally and really contribute to regional integration. This manifested in a number of ways in our individual institutions, but also to note, in last year, we would have led the development of Youth Day at CARICOM Energy Month, and it was a very well-attended event. It really sparked interest, and I think re-sparked our passion to realize how much we have to offer as young people to the sustainable energy transition in the region. So reflecting on my own experience and reflecting on the experience of my fellow REAP, I would just like to express thank you on behalf of the cohort, firstly to TAPSEC and the leadership of our regional institutions for really having the vision to institute this program. I'd like to say a special thanks to Dr. Nebert Blair, as she has really facilitated integration among the REAP. We've been able to build relationships, friendships within the group, I think that is quite valuable. I'd also like to say special thanks to our mentors, Ms. Charlene Bodley, who's not with us here today, my mentor, as well as the other mentors, Mr. John Michel Parle, Mr. Algan Meikle, Mr. Joel Lindo, Dr. Devon Gardner, Mr. Lennox Fort, Mr. Wayne Vitalis, Ms. Janice Hilaire, Mr. Thomas Mitchke, Mr. Leighton Waterman, and I'd like to say a special thanks also to Ms. Sherry Ann Ferguson, who is really critical in coordinating REAP activities at the SECRE. In communication about REAP, about the cohorts, we're often referred to as the future of the region. And this is a term that you all often hear when we speak about youth. We are the future. But I think it's critical to recognize, it's critical to remember that we're not just the future, we are also the present. And through initiatives like REAP, young professionals are given the opportunity to be a key part of now, to contribute to the energy sector, the energy transition now, to share our expertise, our unique voices, our passion and our drive. And I believe that as we go forward within and outside of these regional organizations, that we will continue to put our hands to the plow to contribute to propelling the sustainable energy agenda in our Caribbean nations to ensure that we achieve our renewable energy and energy efficiency goals and capitalize on the myriad of development benefits that the sustainable energy sector has to offer. So with that, I just want to say again, thank you so much to all those named and unnamed who would have contributed to the development of the REAP initiative. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Sapphire Vital of the REAP program, the Regional Energy Apprenticeship Program, and she was part of the inaugural cohort. And now, you know that partnership and collaboration has been the foundation of TAPSEC, that program within the region. And here to speak on the power through partnerships is Dr. Armstrong Alexis, Deputy Secretary General of the CARICOM Secretariat.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies. Given the protocols already established, and like the Master of Ceremonies, I attempted to reach out to my German friends. But the interesting thing is my phone died, so I never heard the voice note that was left. So I will not attempt to pronounce the German names of our esteemed colleagues who are with us this afternoon. Honorable ministers from Barbados and the Dominican Republic, Ambassador of the European Union, other esteemed representatives of the European Union, the government of Barbados, the government of Germany, and of course GIZ. I bring you warm greetings from the CARICOM Secretariat, and in particular our Secretary General, Dr. Carla Barnett. It is a huge pleasure for me to be participating in this closing event on the Technical Assistance Program for Sustainable Energy in the Caribbean, the TAPSEC program. Ladies and gentlemen, the discussions this morning eloquently projected the success of the intervention. And on behalf of the Caribbean Community Secretariat, I take the opportunity to congratulate GIZ, the government of the Federal Ministry of Economic, the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, and the program team under the capable hands of Simone, as well as the partners both at the regional and the national levels for the tremendous success that TAPSEC has been. Colleagues, I hasten to add that project success can only contribute to regional development if we are able to adopt the successes of the project and integrate those successes into the normal offering of services within our institutions and within our respective nations. I therefore present a provocative proposition that as we as actors in the energy sector, we must do all within our capacity and resources, not only to secure the successes of TAPSEC, but to integrate TAPSEC and its measures into all of our normal offerings for the transformation of the energy sector in the Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, the CARICOM Secretariat is honored to have served as a key strategic partner in the development of TAPSEC. Funded under the 11th EDF, I therefore pause to commend the European Union for its commitment as a strategic partner supporting sustainable development in the Caribbean. Thank you very much on behalf of the Secretariat. Through the initiative which we are celebrating this afternoon, we recognize how partnerships are critical in embarking on the mission of building a viable, sustainable and prosperous community for all citizens of our community. Our CARICOM heads of government have placed the matter of renewable energy and energy efficiency as a cornerstone for building resilience in the Caribbean. This drive from the top is what accounts for the establishment of SICRI, and even last week at the Summit of the Americas, the heads of CARICOM and the Dominican Republic were able to successfully negotiate 3 main interventions with the government of the United States, with sustainable energy being one of those 3. The CARICOM Secretariat will continue to perform its convening role, and equally, we will improve our service provision at the regional level to synergize efforts, to leverage project outcomes, and to roll out robust and sustainable initiatives to expand and fortify tangible results in the field of energy efficiency. I know I am speaking to the converted when I say that climate change is a global cross-cutting challenge that cannot be tackled by one country or one sector alone. In fact, we heard from Ms. Carrasco from St. Lucia this morning that regulators have benefited from the collaboration and growth from the lessons of others. We must therefore continue, and CARICOM Secretariat will continue to place itself at your disposal to maximize the benefits, collaboration, and regional engagements as we all rise together. Although TAPSEC is coming to a close, I anticipate that the partnership of the past 5 years and the successes derived from the engagements pursued will serve as a stepping stone for further partnerships for results in the energy sector. In fact, this morning I heard a call for TAPSEC 2, and I saw heads of a number of persons of significance in the room nodding in approval. So we look forward to what may possibly be the TAPSEC 2. CARICOM appreciates, however, the support of our international and development partners in the transformation of our societies and our economic sectors to become more sustainable and more resilient. Ladies and gentlemen, I recognize with appreciation that TAPSEC has assisted member states of CARICOM and the Dominican Republic in advancing the nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement. The accelerated development of renewable energy technologies and energy efficiency measures is essential to the global objective of keeping global temperature below 1.5 degrees of pre-industrial levels. And the phrase 1.5 to stay alive is not just a catchy slogan, but for the Caribbean community, it is a poignant reminder of our social, economic, and environmental risks and vulnerabilities, which will affect all sectors of our society. We therefore have no choice but to take it seriously. Recognizing that the Caribbean region has put in place some critical building blocks for policy-driven sustainable progress, it is of consequence that TAPSEC has played a significant role in advancing the Caribbean agenda on sustainable energy. The CARICOM Energy Policy and the Caribbean Sustainable Energy Roadmap and Strategy have both progressed, and national policies and strategies on energy in CARIFORUM member states, including the National Energy Policy in the Dominican Republic, have advanced, giving relevance to one of the major outcomes of TAPSEC. I therefore compliment the TAPSEC team for supporting the implementation of strategies for renewable energy and energy efficiency in the Caribbean. I note with interest that TAPSEC has supported the establishment of the CARICOM Policy and Regulations Help Desk, and thanks to the intervention, member states have been able to develop a conducive legislative environment for renewable energy and energy efficiency. innovations with the Regional Electric Vehicle Strategy, the CARICOM Energy Knowledge Hub, the Regional Energy Information Systems for CARICOM, and support to the CARICOM Regional Energy Apprenticeship Program, which we just heard about just a minute ago, are well noted and highly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, I take some time to acknowledge TAPSEC for its support to the preparation of bankable projects, the Credit Risk Abatement Facility through the CDF, and all other initiatives funded through SICRI, the CDB, CrossQ, and the Latin American Energy Organization. These clear, tangible results help us to build a resilient future. They will all fit nicely into a network of interventions to make the Caribbean a region able to respond to the challenges of an uncertain future. I thank all gathered for your partnership this afternoon, and I look forward to further strengthening those partnerships to secure sound development results for our region. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alexis. And next, ladies and gentlemen, to speak once again to the power through partnerships, I invite Mr. Alfonso Rodriguez, who's the Vice Minister of the Ministry of Energy and Mine, in the Dominican Republic. Please welcome him.
Good afternoon, and thank you to the Master of Ceremony. And as Mr. Armstrong said, it is complicated to mention all the German names, but I would really like to thank our host, Ms. Sandra Husband, to be the host here at the Government of Barbados to receive all of us here. We are very happy to be here in your country. And thank you for being here with us. We, as politicians and public servants, carry the burden of accepting the errors of past administration and giving solutions for what we are doing. So now, in this position, as a representation of the government of the Dominican Republic, I have to give a public apology to Mr. Simon and Verena for what happened before 2020. Yes, TAPSEC is 5 years running, and it has really been working only 2 years in the Dominican Republic, and it's after 2020. And I know that part of your gray hair was due to what was happening in the Dominican Republic before 2020, when we changed our government and our institution. The Dominican Republic was the only country in the whole Caribbean building a coal-fired power plant. So a group of persons trying to speak about renewable energy, it was like very difficult for them to make it work or make something around. But we arrived at the government on 2020 in a free election, and the first thing that we put as an energy strategy was implementing all the laws that we already have since 2007, giving all the exemptions and all the facilities for the renewable energy sector, and calling again our partners that were given all the assistance, technical assistance, as the TAPSEC project for implementing what we really was lacking in our legislation for the renewable energy, and what we were missing in the terms of knowledge, and that was only a 2 years work. And we have accomplished too many things in those 2 years. We made a paper for the power grid connection. We made a paper for the single door in order to obtain a concession for renewable energy. we developed a whole system of training in what we have, an installation that we have in the Dominican Republic that is called the Thematic Renewable Energy Theme Park, that I invite you all to see at our webpage at the Ministry of Energy and Mines. It is a theme park where you go and you will find all the renewable energy solution in just one park. You will see photovoltaic solar panels working, you will see a wind farm working, you will see turbine of water working, you will see a biomass digester working. And with the help of TAPSEC, in these last 2 years, we have supplied computers, programs, and we have teach and reach more than 500 scholar kids in what is renewable energy. And all these things happen in the middle of the pandemic. So forgive us and thank you for what we have achieved in those 2 years. And what we have been doing in the last 2 years, Dominican Republic have become the leader of the Caribbean in renewable energy installation. Why? Because since the moment that we arrived and we faced the problem of the pandemic, we decided that we need energy independence. And in that same moment, we gave 10 contracts of power purchase agreement with the warranty of distribution companies that are owned fully by the government for the amount of 300 megawatts of renewable energy. We have now the biggest photovoltaic power plant in the whole Caribbean. It is Girasol power plant of 125 megawatts. And right now we are generating the 20% of all the electricity of the island in renewable energy, and that's only in 2 years. We are expecting to achieve the 30% renewable energy by 2030. And what we are facing right now, we are facing the challenge of the flexibility of the power plants that have fossil fuels. Why? We have a coal power plant of 700 megawatts, and you cannot turn on, upload, unload a 700 megawatt coal-fired power plant. And we cannot turn it off because it is brand new. In a system of only 3 gigawatts, we are facing what we are going to do with the flexibility, and that is why in our declaration the last year in the High Dialogue of Energy at the United Nations, we declared that we are accepting the natural gas as a transition fuel because we need it. All our countries at the Caribbean face the hurricane season, and what will happen when we are hit by a hurricane. The last week, we ended the Summit of the Americas, and the Dominican Republic had the honor to be the president of the table of negotiation of the transition energy. And we included what we call the 12th paragraph. And you can look at the declaration of the accelerating the clean energy transition document. The 12th paragraph established that the SOA have to make a differential study of the Caribbean nations for the renewable energy interaction, penetration, and what is the real amount of renewable energy that we can accept. Why? Because we as Caribbean, we are not interconnected. We are a small island developing states, and our reality is not the same as the continental countries. And we were able to put that in that declaration in the Summit of the Americas. And I really thank because Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, I believe all the Caribbean countries supported that motion and it was included. Our countries need to manage what is coming There is a really energy transition that is coming, and we have to know how we are going to handle it. We are now giving incentives to electric mobility, but our countries depend on fossil fuel taxes. So we have to acknowledge that right now we are not having just an energy transition, we are having a taxation transition that we have to start foreseeing and start to work an holistic way of looking at it. In the Dominican Republic, the fossil fuel for vehicles, speaking of gasoline, diesel, represents the 10% of all the incomes of the government. If by some sort of magic we change tomorrow all our vehicles to electric vehicles, the government will lose the 10% of the income. So that's something that we have to look what we are going to do with that. And why projects like TAPSEC have to be specific for the Caribbean, because the solution of the Caribbean is very different from the continental nations. If you go to a city like New York, in Manhattan, or Madrid at Spain, you will see a lot of people that leave their cars in public parking lots, and they can charge overnight. But here at the Caribbean, everybody have their cars in their houses. So you will need to charge your car in your house. You will need to put money in the electric utility company, and you will have to know how you will put those taxes that you are losing in the gasoline in that electricity. And that's the kind of studies that comes now, and that is why we are calling for a TAPSEC 2. Because those are really the problems that we are looking in the future. But I don't want to leave this podium saying something. It needs government and politics support in order that the renewable energy becomes a reality. There is no way that an investment so huge that needs to be done will be done if there is not a government support for that. And we have noticed that in the Dominican Republic. In the Dominican Republic, there were not a single renewable energy power plant built from 2015 till 2020 because the government was not giving a single power purchase agreement for those power plants. At the moment that the government say, okay, we are going to support the renewable energy and we are going to give the power purchase agreement, we are now receiving like 600 million in foreign investment and 500 megawatts of renewable energy being installed. That's the best example that this transition have to be supported by the politicians, have to be supported by our government, and we need the know-how of the person that have the technology and are developing the technologies. Why? Because in none of our countries we have a factory of photovoltaic solar panels. All that technology is coming from abroad. And what is coming is something that maybe the scientific from Germany knows. And that is why we need the TAPSEC. We need to share the knowledge. We need to share that knowledge that you have, that history, because that's the only way that we can make laws and make regulations to accept that transition. I always use an example. It's only been 10 years that if one of us missed one chapter of our favorite TV channel series, had to wait 1 year to order all the DVDs through Amazon. And in 2015, the streaming arrived and changed everything. That is happening right now. In 2016, Tesla was making just one model of electric vehicle, and not a single European manufacturer was making a full electric vehicle. And now we can see that all manufacturers around the world are making electric vehicles. So the transition is here, and it is at a very fast pace, and we have to run at the same pace of that in order to catch it. So let's hope that we can receive a new TAPSEC and we can catch it up, because we need to protect our environment, we need to protect our planet, and as I always will be repeating, it needs the government support. Thank you all.
Gracias, Senor Rodriguez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a cultural presentation. It'll be done by one of Barbados's top spoken word artists. She is prolific. She is the voice of the present and the future. She'll be doing a piece that she wrote entitled Riddle of Crossroads, and it's dedicated to the region's energy transition. Today, she'll be accompanied by steel panist Hashim Durant. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome the award-winning Cindy Celeste.
The Caribbean region stands at a crossroad, and each second that passes demands us to answer the question that is posed at this juncture. The junction is begging to know, which road will we choose to follow? One is paved with good intentions and the force of habit. On this road, we do the same things we always did, blissfully unaware of the damage it is causing. On this road, our nations are stagnations. Our small island developing states are in a constant state of dependence growth, stunted by the weight of unsustainable decisions. And at first sight, this looks like the path of least resistance. But this road so reliably traveled is actually the path of reliance, where we on the front lines of the climate crisis will be the first to face the fallout of our world's energy choices, eroding ecosystems with emissions, leaving our landscapes liable to devastation, acidifying the environment for life in our oceans. This is a dangerous notion. But to our eyes, the other path barely looked like a path at all. So grassroots and rough-hewn, we might call it a cart road, but Mother Nature might call it harmony. On this road, energy transformed from one form to another is a balanced scale between respect and renewability, a mutual understanding of the difference between finite resources and an infinity of possibility. On this road, we work together as a team, each person a partner in proactivity, converting the potential energy of each individual unit into the willpower to fuel the entire Caribbean community. Our decree is that we offer support to activities that expand our capacity to reach new heights in energy efficiency. Because the focus isn't just on I, it's on all of us. And these systems run on more than just funds. They thrive on the integrated efforts of every average person. On this road, it is 2030, and the Caribbean region generates half of its energy from solar farms, geothermal plants, and wind turbine stations. Policies fiercely protect our fragile environment, and our new sense of independence and resilience makes room for even further development. On this road, we have done our due diligence. because we know that we can only reap the harvest we have invested in. So when we take the leap to give youth opportunities, they in turn give us innovative solutions that when we provide the toolkits, the result doesn't just take us off the charts, it takes us off the grid. So what I'm really trying to say is the answer to this question is not an impossible one. This impasse isn't impassable. This crossroads isn't uncrossable, especially if while we think globally, we implement regionally and act readily at a local level. When we raise our voices high and take action that demonstrates our Caribbean pride, when our hearts beat in unison and the sound of the victory drum rings, the answer to the question, which road we will follow, will be the most obvious thing. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, come on, for the talent and the message from Cindy Celeste, accompanied by Hashim Durant. And at this point, we're going to say adieu to Ambassador Wesiluska as well as Minister Husbands. Thank you so much for joining us today. You know, the entire day we have been witnessing the accomplishments of the TAPSEC program through its partnerships. We now take a final look at the impact of the TAPSEC program over the last 5 years with this video feature entitled TAPSEC, Fueling the Future. Take a look.
There is only one Caribbean. This is the place we call home, and we must preserve and protect its landscapes, natural resources, diversity, and most of all, its people. We know we are vulnerable to the effects of climate change and are degrees away from disaster. Therefore, we can no longer afford to rely solely on traditional forms of energy that pose risks to our environment and our economies. Across the region, there has been a movement to propel our countries forward. Forward with thinking, forward with planning, forward with action, forward with sustainable energy while ensuring our climate's resiliency. Our ultimate goal was to help build a future where every CARIFORUM citizen has access to the affordable, sustainable and reliable energy supply they deserve. What TAPSEC, its partners and the region's people have accomplished since 2017 is remarkable.
My hope for the region is really to that the energy transition is being implemented and that we reach a stage in 10, 20, 30 years where all countries are really fully fueled on sustainable energy. That means we have solar PV, wind, we have other technologies installed, and that the dependency on fossil fuel has really been cut. That is important for our future generations, that is important for the Caribbean region from an economic point of view and for so many other reasons. And I really hope that those initiatives we have supported, that they are now picking up and being implemented in a much broader way and contributing to that energy transition.
But the journey continues. Our region must build on its achievements thus far. we must continue to harness our power through our partnerships, to fuel our future, and to walk on this path to a sustainable, climate-resilient Caribbean.
I'm sure we're all definitely looking forward to seeing the full documentary. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to deliver the closing remarks, please welcome GIZ Country Director for the Caribbean, Verena Blickwede.
I guess I'm the smallest one speaking here because the mic is pointing up there. I feel a little bit like Dr. Cletus. Right before lunch, I'm the last speaker, and I was asked to be brief. Honorable, dear guests, partners, actors of the program, team, European Union, thank you so much for coming today. I think it has been a very intense and fruitful day, which has tried to resume everything which we all have achieved together during the last 5 years. Thank you so much to the European Union. Thank you so much to the CARICOM and to the actors of the program and the partners. Thank you so much, Simon, and your team. I think you all have done a very great job, and the work continues. Even TAPSEC 1 is going. Yes, there will be a TAPSEC 2. Yes, we are all still dedicated, and yes, GIZ will continue. So, thank you very much, and I don't want to keep you longer away from the cocktail. Have a good rest of this afternoon and evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Blickwede. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to an end of the TAPSEC closing ceremony. It was certainly a pleasure being here with you and serving as your master of ceremony this afternoon. But as Ms. Blickwede said, it's not quite over, ladies and gentlemen. We invite you to, of course, enjoy the cocktails and stay for the conference photos, get to know each other, make sure that you leave with some new contacts if you haven't done so already. What a wonderful program this has been, and we really look forward to a better, brighter, safer future. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody who worked behind the scenes to make the day possible, and of course, everybody who's worked with TAPSEC and learned with TAPSEC over the last 5 years. We certainly look forward, like I said already, to a wonderful future. My name is Belle Holder. Thank you so much. Enjoy the cocktails.
Sexy.